mitochondrial health, 5 ways to improve your cellular energy. The mitochondria literally produce all the energy within our body. So we can have, thousands, hundreds of thousands in some cases of mitochondria within our cells. It's incredible. These are little energy factories, and they produce energy called ATP. Adenosine triphosphate is what our cellular energy is. And they take in nutrients, and they can utilize glucose as well as fatty acids and ketones to produce energy. They also produce reduced energy or free radicals as well as part of the energy producing process. And so we know the major functions of the mitochondria. Typically, I think of mitochondria, I think of energy. However, there's also a lot of other things. And believe it or not, actually creating oxidative radicals is helpful for the body. It helps the body with the autophagy process, believe it or not. It also helps with helping our body become primed for stress and having its own endogenous antioxidant system where we produce glutathione, things like that. It helps to damage and destroy old cells, the autophagy process, as well as stimulating what we call mitophagy, which is the breakdown of older mitochondria and the renewing, in a sense, where we take the raw materials and help create new, healthier mitochondria. So you guys can see tons of different key elements that the mitochondria do, key functions. And so what sort of factors can damage the mitochondria? Poor diet, in particular, a diet that's high in sugar, processed carbohydrates, and environmental toxins, chemicals. Glyphosate, for example, which is in Roundup. It's genetically modified, or it's a pesticide, basically, damages the mitochondria. And so we know that many different environmental toxins out there, heavy metals, things like that, all damage the mitochondria. So we want to obviously have our diet real healthy. Chronic stress, infections, particularly viral infections, but really all infections are going to put an inflammatory load on the body and overstress the mitochondria. Poor sleep, and then just the process of aging. In particular, obviously, when you're aging and also doing a lot of these factors that lead to damage over time, any of these factors can cause damage to the mitochondria, which results in lowered energy production, more metabolic waste that your body's going to produce, and not be able to really buffer that. So more oxidative stress, more damage to the mitochondria. And that's going to cause you to become very metabolically inflexible. So for example, people that struggle to get fat or keto adapted, it's oftentimes because they have a lot of damaged mitochondria within their cells. And those mitochondria are not good at utilizing fat or ketones for fuel. They rely on glucose metabolism, which is in a sense, a more primitive metabolic approach. And it's kind of the last to go when the mitochondria is damaged. That's the last one to go. And utilizing glucose for energy is something we can produce energy quickly and without oxygen through glucose, through glycation. However, it also causes a lot of cell damage. So it's not good. All right. So overall, this leads to a chronic disease development. We want mitochondria that are really metabolically flexible, very good at utilizing fat for aerobic metabolism, producing ATP, but also at times good for utilizing glucose and the whole process of using glucose for energy as well. And of course, when you have mitochondrial dysfunction, you guys can see all the different symptoms and chronic disease that are associated with that. And so the ones that are more research-based, there's more research behind mitochondrial dysfunction and chronic fatigue, Huntington's, autism, Parkinson's, mitochondrial disease, obviously, muscular dystrophy, Lou Gehrig's disease, and Alzheimer's. Okay, so a lot of these neurodegenerative conditions and a lot of neurological issues, and that's because the brain is so dense with mitochondria. So really, if there's any sort of brain issue, there's going to be mitochondrial damage and dysfunction that's associated with it. You can also see the other ones that are associated, cardiomyopathy. So we know the heart is very, very rich in these mitochondria. So anything that, any sort of heart disease is certainly a mitochondrial related issue as well, just not as much research as the neurological issues that we're seeing here. Okay, but you guys can obviously see there's a lot of different conditions that are represented when it comes to mitochondrial dysfunction. And so here are big factors. I talked about them briefly just a minute ago, but a sedentary lifestyle, really bad for mitochondria. We need to be moving. We need to be exercising our bodies regularly. Mitochondria, basically our body, when we are moving our bodies and exercising, that is a stimulus that we need to be better at producing energy. We need more energy efficiency, which means we need better, stronger, and a larger number of mitochondria. So our body goes through something called mitochondrial biogenesis, where we produce more mitochondria within the cells. And if you're sedentary, it's telling the body, I don't need a whole lot of these mitochondria. I want to be as efficient as possible. I'm going to break some of these down, and I'm going to have less. And that's obviously not what we're going for. We want a lot of really good, strong, healthy mitochondria. Okay, you may have a genetic predisposition. You may have a mitochondrial disorder based on genes. There's a lot of them out there, or just a disposition for having more trouble, lifestyle-induced trouble to the mitochondria. Inflammation, high blood sugar, hyperglycemia, obviously issues. We talked about the aging, chronic infections, viruses, bacteria, fungal, parasitic, environmental toxins, radiation from X-rays, from CT scans, things like that, damage to mitochondria. Sugar and processed foods, obviously a big factor, stress and sleep deprivation, and nutrient deficiencies. We need a whole bunch of different nutrients to really function, allow the mitochondria to function well. Magnesium, B vitamins, CoQ10. I'm going to go through those nutrients in a second. But, things that we can be doing, anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense nutrition plan. And you can see number 4 there, intermittent and extended fasting. I'm a huge fan of practicing intermittent fasting, okay? Like for me personally, and it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but for me, I do 5 days a week where I do 2 meals in a 6-hour eating window. Okay, so let's say between 12 and 6 is usually my eating window, somewhere around there. Sometimes it's tighter, 1, 2 to 6 or so, but I usually am done with dinner certainly by 6:30, and I'm usually eating my first meal somewhere between 12 and 2 usually. Okay, so nice tight eating window that way, and then 2 days a week where I do 1 meal. So yesterday I only did 1 meal. And so it was more of like a 24-hour fast. And I do that twice a week, and that's a great stimulus for the mitochondria. When I do eat, I make sure I get a lot of nutrients, really nutrient-dense foods. I've got a lot of videos on best nutrient-dense foods to be consuming when you're doing this. We want to keep stress down, and we want to really focus on high-quality sleep. That's going to be very important. Good movement, high-intensity exercise. I love doing strength training. I also love just moving, just getting out walking and staying very active throughout the day. Even if you have a desk job, just getting up and, I'm sitting at a desk right now, but I'll be getting up just in a minute, running up and down my stairs a little bit, things like that. So playing with my kids. There's a lot of different things you can be doing, taking walks around your neighborhood to stay moving, keep moving, and then do some high-intensity exercise. For me, what does that look like? A 37-year-old male business owner who also has 3 little children, 3 and under. It means 4 days a week of high-intensity strength training. My workouts are roughly 25 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that range, 20 to 30 minutes. So that's a roughly, hour and a half to 2 hours of high-intensity exercise a week. And then other than that, just staying moving. That's really all you need. And I'm in tip-top shape. Mitochondria is really strong. So that's what you're going to need as far as exercise. And, fasting is just such a great stimulus for this. And so whether you're engaging in intermittent fasting, like I was talking about, or extended fasting, really, really, really great way to help support ketone production, help support mitophagy, where your body breaks down these old mitochondria that are metabolically inflexible and produces new, healthy, stronger mitochondria. And then for the most part, I practice a ketogenic diet. Every now and then, have a little bit higher carbs, but it's very rare, maybe once a month or so. But other than that, I'm following more of a very low carb diet and high healthy fats, high nutrient density. And then I support my body with these key nutrients, and I would recommend you do the same. Alpha lipoic acid, omega-3 fatty acids, glucosamine, N-acetylcysteine, creatine monohydrate, resveratrol, okay, which is found in grape skins. Resveratrol, amazing research on that for mitochondria health. Creatine gets a bad rap because a lot of people think that creatine is just for muscle building, which it does, and it's really good for lean body tissue and muscle building, but it's also really, really good for supporting mitochondria and energy production. Quercetin, green tea, or ECGC, very powerful effects. You've got NAD, which is really powerful as well. Acetyl L-carnitine and coenzyme Q10. So these things are very, very powerful nutrients to support your mitochondria. Now, if you're going to look for foods, best food sources for mitochondria, you're looking for pasture-raised meats, organ meats like heart, liver, and kidney, really good for the body. Wild-caught fish, pasture-raised egg yolk, grass-fed butter, all very rich in CoQ10. These are great mitochondrial support foods from a vegan perspective, and these are foods you definitely want to get in as well. Avocados, olives, olive oil, broccoli, cauliflower, sweet potato, nuts like pistachios, walnuts, sesame seeds, hazelnuts, all really good things to be consuming on a regular basis. So really good. If you want to go real low carb, you'd avoid the sweet potato, but certainly could eat a lot of broccoli, cauliflower, and those nuts and seeds. Lots of olives, olive oil, avocados, obviously. Really good stuff. And then L-carnitine, now this is something, in fact, carnitine gets its name from carnivore, so we find it in meat, but it's actually a amino acid that helps to pull fat, so fatty acids, into mitochondria. It's a shuttle to help pull fatty acids into mitochondria to help with fat burning. So we get this from animal products, but we also can supplement with it. And some people struggle to get keto adapted and fat adapted, where they're burning fat because their mitochondria are dysfunctional. Their body's not producing enough of this L-carnitine. Maybe they're not absorbing it well from their diet, or they're maybe on a vegan diet and they're not absorbing it well. And so that's why we put together the MyToe Support, which has clinical doses of coenzyme Q10, of creatine monohydrate, of the L-carnitine, alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine. It's got ECGC, resveratrol, curcumin, B vitamins that are critical for mitochondrial function, like vitamin B6, B12, I believe B2 is in there, thiamine, B1. So all really, really critical for energy production. This is my, basically my full mitochondrial support supplement right here. So this, if you're looking for improved cellular energy, improved mitochondrial function, along with doing everything we talked about, which I would highly recommend doing that first, one other way to boost your mitochondrial function is also adding in this MyToe Support. Okay, so you can check that out, the link below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's training, and I'll see you on a future training. Would love to know your thoughts and your comments on this video. Be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.